Well, hello and welcome back to my Football Manager series with Swindon Town. We're a whole 11 episodes and 3 matches in now, and I have to say it's quite good news again. We've beaten Morecambe by 2-0. Now I don't know if there was an introduction to this video or not. I've tried to render it twice today so far when I'm recording this commentary, and both times it's failed. What I'm going to do now is reduce the quality of it because before this time I was trying to record it in 720p, which apparently to my computer is a very high quality that must be avoided, so we might drop down to a lower quality just so you guys can see it. I did spend the best part of 4 hours yesterday producing it, getting the photos, finding who owned what photo, etc., because I like to be a little bit legit, even if I did pirate the music to put on it. But hey, you know, I'm not going to get into the debate about why piracy is good for the internet, but hey, let's just let's go on with the game. So first of all, where should I begin? I'm going to have to say that our first half in the game really was not convincing. Although these stats say something else, I mean 8 shots on target to 1 shot on target would suggest that Morecambe really were shut out during the match. I have to say this isn't entirely the case, and I was always scared of Morecambe grabbing the first goal to get going, and we would have no response to that really. The possession, in comparison to the last games that I played, that was fairly disappointing, and to add to that, I think there was a lot of frustration during the match. I mean, 4 yellow cards, the majority of which coming in this, well, all of which coming in the second half, speaks volumes really for it wasn't the best performance, I have to say that, even if we did walk away with 2-0. In the first half it was really disappointing. Obviously the first minute of the second half, Lee Cox went in, I think it might have been extra time in the first half, I don't know, went in and grabbed a great goal, and I will just show you the highlight here. Now it is laggy, and I know why it's laggy now. I'm recording in 15 frames per second, however if I were to change that, then the time that the video takes to render would be considerably longer, so I may not even have the video up at 6 o'clock. So this was the first goal from Lee Cox, doing what he does best, taking a shot, going for it. Now, as I said before, I'm not too fond of people taking on long shots, but if anyone in my squad is going to take them, it has to be Lee Cox, because he just has a brilliant long shot. I can't really say too much more about that. De Vita's goal was what I would say is a kind of Miles Story goal. I was considering bringing on Miles Story. As you can see, Richie getting into a great position. I was considering putting Miles Story in his place. And who did I bring on instead? I may have brought on Miles Story actually. If we just have a quick look. Okay, maybe if we don't have a quick look, because I can't see whether. Yeah, no, I'm quite bad at that actually. Split view. Okay, we'll just go into the Swindon ratings. We may be able to find it there. Yeah, so I think we did bring on Miles Story. He grabbed a 6.6 rating. He was on in the 59th minute, so actually no, he did do a job for a good part of the game and was part of the build-up for the second goal. So aside from that though, I didn't think he performed too much. During the second half, just after we scored our first goal, Morecambe had a really good chance to score with, what's his name? Phil Jevons. Someone threaded him through, I think it was Drummond, I can't quite remember, threaded him through right through the middle of my defence. Nobody was picking him up. Luckily enough we got an offside for that, but watching the replay I swear it was not offside. Now apparently there was a penalty shout in the second half that I knew nothing about. I never really saw this, so I can't really say that Morecambe have much to claim there. As you can see, a very physical game, McDonald being injured late into injury time there, and 7 yellow cards during the match, which is a very high amount for my squad. I know I've put high pressure on, and a few players are tackling quite hard. And it's always quite scary to see your centre-backs getting the yellow cards. I don't really have a problem with centre midfielders getting a yellow card because it just means they're getting stuck in. But with a centre-back you always run the risk of them being sent off, and then you really don't have any response to the other team. All I can say really to summarise in this game is that, you know, it's good news. If we just take a quick look at my match, ratings as well, you will see that I did bring on a certain other player that I never really announced. His name is Paul Downing, and we have secured him. He is on £875 per week. I'm not entirely sure what I put for his contract. I may just be able to find that, but may not even be able to find that, so I'm going to leave that there. As you can see, brilliant stats at the moment for any player that's 19 years old. I think I'm going to put him on training to become a stronger player, and I'm going to put that on intense because he really does need to improve in that area. Actually, yeah, no, that is right. So we just go into strength there. I mean, if we can bring that up to 6 or 7, I think he can do a job straight away in the first team. I know when I was getting a press interview, and I'm going to just start another one here, I was asked if he was going to slot into the team straight away, which I thought was quite an odd question, really. He doesn't strike me as a player that's, you know, although his technical ability is considerable, it's not, you know, on a par with, say, Risa at the moment, and his influence definitely isn't. I think that's another problem that I'm going to have. I do want that second player in the cover position with a bit more pace, but I really can't sacrifice Risa because of his influence, and I think he's vice-captain, so his captaincy somewhat. We'll just go to the post-match press conference. We will attend that. Morecambe were disappointed with the referee's decision. Now, I've had fun in the past being told by the FA and stuff like that, and being fined and being in the news for saying, well, I didn't really agree with his decision. Now, I think that's ridiculous. As I've said before in many other videos on my old channel, everybody's entitled to an opinion, and it's always interesting when a manager does complain about a referee because they have more in common with the fans. If you see a passionate, angry manager, just like Paolo Di Canio, who is angry with their players because they played shite, let's be honest about it, that is what you want to see. You do not want to see the statesman-like comments on every game saying, well, you know, the referee has a very hard job. No one wants to see that. Everyone wants to see that that was a fucking awful decision and, you know, the FA should fine him or whatever. It just makes the game more interesting, and I think managers, anyone on the technical staff is entitled to an opinion. You know, it is interesting and everybody wants to see it. Moving on, obviously I have to be statesmanlike, otherwise I'm going to be fined or whatever. So the penalty wasn't awarded and there's nothing to say about it. Lee Cox picked up the Man of the Match award for your side today. How did you rate his performance? Now, I think I would have to say that De Vita probably did a better job for me when he came on. I think his final match rating for the second half was an 8.0, whereas Leacock's overall game rating was 6.97, which is not all that inspiring. And I think a lot of that comes off the back of the goal that he scored. Had he, you know, missed that, he would have been a very mediocre player, to be perfectly honest. And I think De Vita would have been walking away with more Man of the Match awards. So I'm going to have to say Lee had a good, solid game, because I don't want to piss him off, because we have very few centre midfielders and I don't want them depressed. Paul Downing made his Swindon debut today, albeit from the bench. Will Downing be in your first team plans soon? You asked me this question before the game. I think we'll take it slow introducing Paul to the team. There are rumours that you're still in the market for another player. Now, I'm not really in the market for another player as such. I will show you one player that I did find though, that I've put a loan offer in, and I'm not entirely sure. Swansea, easy enough to spell. Swansea City, and we will go into their reserve squad, and we will look at their striker, and his name is Rory Donnelly. Yeah, we have stuck a season-long loan bid for this guy. We're not, if we do get him, going to have to pay for any of his wages. As you can see there, determination and flair. Now, if you have a high flair but poor decisions, so if we look at this, 14 decisions, definitely does the job in League 2. But if you were having, say, 6 or 7 decisions and 19 flair, essentially what it means is your player's going to try kind of fancy crap that really doesn't work or pay off or anything like that, and it's just not going to be effective. Just going to check what time we are at the video, and that's my YouTube, 9 minutes 36, so we've got a bit of time. But yeah, if he's got good decisions and if he's got good technique, I think I've said this before, technique is basically your player's footballing vocabulary. If they have a higher technique, they can say things football-wise in many other ways. They can use different words, and by that I mean techniques, moves. They can kick a ball in a different way. Let's just keep it at that. 12 pace, not going to set the world on fire. 14 fitness, definitely need that. We are going to be moving about the pitch incredibly fast, so if I do have a striker that loses out, misses out for an injury or whatever, loses his position, then he will be incredibly important for that. Again, bravery is, I would say, an important stat for a striker, in that they need to get into the right position and they need to not be afraid of being injured. And this is especially helpful if it's a substitute player, because at the end of the day, if they do get injured, you're not really that bothered about it. Anticipation 12. To be fair, I think these are probably the stats that most aspiring Premier League reserve young sort of youth players would have, that are definitely strong stats in the Premier League. Now I'm surprised he's only worth 150k. To me, I know 19 isn't the youngest, but just let this just develop, and I think he will be a strong League One Championship player within a few years. I mean, those stats are promising enough as it is. Can't speak today, sorry. For influence is a little disappointing. I'm not entirely sure what that stat means, so if you could fill me in on the comments, it would help. What I'm guessing at the moment is that he may go a bit amiss in games, so if we're not the dominant team, if we're not the attacking team, then you might not see anything of him during the game, which does kind of undermine his other stats. But to me, I could bring him on if I was 1-0 up, and maybe I wanted to score another goal or wanted to change tactics a little bit. I would be happy to bring this guy into my team straight away, maybe on the subs bench, but maybe as a main striker. I don't quite know yet. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a player update there. Obviously our next match is against Cheltenham. Now what I'm thinking of doing for the introduction to that video is that I'm going to make a behind the scenes video in how I make the introduction. Not particularly interesting, I know, but it works as a sort of GIMP tutorial. No, not that kind of GIMP tutorial. So you can kind of learn how simple it is to make the kind of graphics that I've made. I mean, I know they're not brilliant, but at the end of the day, it gives the videos an extra edge. It kind of helps out. So if we just go back and we just yeah, there's a few little alterations that I need to make that I've kind of forgot to make. Everyone is still on the pre-season schedule, so I'm going to change that when I turn Camtasia off. But as for now, I have to say, with the season so far and the support I've been getting, I'm really happy with this YouTube channel. I'm really happy with the Football Manager save that I'm going through at the moment. So, you know, I can't appreciate... no, sorry, I'm going to stop there. Thank you for your support. If you could comment, rate and like this video, it would be very appreciated. And yeah, that was it. That was Aoki-san. Thank you for watching and goodbye.